What is up, guys? Welcome back to the Voice of the Giants podcast here on WKCV, the voice of Keystone College. Guys, doing something I haven't done in a minute. Did it a couple of years ago with Brett Riley, if some people remember who that is. Brett was obviously team manager and everything like that, so I figure why not recircle and do that again, guys. Obviously, it doesn't take much to figure out how I'm doing this, guys. Got none other than field hockey student manager Ty Morton in the studio. Ty, how you doing, brother?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm fantastic, man. I'm fantastic. And yeah, I'm glad to have you in the studio and everything like that because obviously, like I said, I did this before and everything like that. And it worked out perfectly. And honestly, I'm looking forward to, definitely getting to know on this. But obviously, for one thing is obvious. You obviously were a part of also not only a team manager for field hockey, but you also were a player. What was kind of like the transition going from like a player on the men's lacrosse team to, that team manager role of both somewhat a little bit of women's lacrosse and field hockey?
Well, in a sense, I don't like to use the word team manager. I like to say assistant coach because, I do way more than a team manager like would typically do for a coach. Like I'm in the inner circle. So, I have to do way more than like team manager would do. So I don't really like to say manager. I like to say assistant coach because it sounds so much better just to say anyway when you have to tell people that. But an adjustment, I think it's actually really interesting. Like when you go from men's lacrosse the previous season, actually like playing, and then to do hockey in the fall, it was actually very interesting just to see like different coaching styles and just see how like each team is different. Because I didn't even know field hockey was an actual sport until I came to Keystone my freshman year, and I saw that they had some field hockey games, and I said, "What's field hockey?" So I came to check it out, and I liked it from there. So to actually get to join the team this year was actually a really good thing.
Absolutely, and obviously the one thing that probably struck your attention right away was probably, and this is something that I've noticed ever since my freshman year back 2015 and everything like that with field hockey, was just the family aspect of that field hockey team. I'll kind of let you elaborate on that and everything like that.
Yeah. The girls, we are one big happy family, and I realized that quick when I joined the team. And from Erwin, I'm always like to say Erwin's my adopted mom. Love her to death. She treats me like a child for her. And joining the team, I gained 22 other sisters, even though I just have sisters all around the board. But, I gained 22 others, and I love each of them dearly. There's some I'm closer to, and there's some I aren't so close to, but I love them equally. I love when I see them. I get a kick out of just being around them. So this family aspect is actually really interesting just to see how they interact with each other, and how they will always plan just to do something as a team together, separate from anything else. I think that's what kind of really gave me the thought that I actually enjoy being part of this team.
And the other thing to mention as well, you obviously mentioned, you bring up Coach Erwin, you bring up, the 22 girls on roster and everything like that. But the other thing that you also had was also the other assistant coaches. You had Taylor out there, I believe.
Yeah.
You had Krista and you had Gabe and everything like that. So definitely not a small coaching staff in a way. But at the same time, one that definitely made an impact and everything like that. And I want to go back to, obviously, you talked about Coach Erwin and everything like that mom aspect. And usually when you talk to anybody, one of the girls on the field hockey team or one of the team managers or whoever, usually you get that with Coach Erwin. So I'm going to kind of elaborate or let you elaborate on that and everything like that, because the other thing to mention with Coach Erwin, about 9 times out of 10, the relationship doesn't just end in field hockey, because it's virtually a year-round thing with Coach Erwin.
Definitely. Yeah. Erwin is such a mom. When Erwin finally has, children, I think she's going to be, top flight mom. Erwin is such a mom. She'll definitely, give you that mom aspect. It's the good, the bad, and, the ugly. And I think which I like. And what I feel for her, in my perspective, what she's done for me, she's giving me, so much, knowledge of things that I didn't even know that I could do. Just being around her this past season and this off season and just seeing, how her brain works and just being able to pick it, it's very interesting. I think being around her kind of helped me narrow a little bit of what I wanted to do career-wise, after graduation.
Yeah, and obviously, like I said before, Coach Erwin always helping out and everything like that, and always giving you advice, whether you're team manager or whether you're coach, whether you're whatever it is, always giving out advice and everything like that, and always helping in the best way. And obviously on the season, and you could definitely tell when it was time to go for game time and everything like that with the girls and everything like that, the mood shifted.
Oh yeah, you can definitely tell. Like, you can always tell. What I always like to say, you can always tell when like we were having a good week, because practices would be great. Like, everybody would just be in such a like great place. Like, Erwin would be great because Erwin's crazy. Anybody that knows Erwin knows that she's crazy. Love her to death. She's crazy. So you can always tell like when like the week was going to be a good week. And even like the games, like even if we were having a good week and just like we had that one game that was just I like fell short, I would still look at the games and I would still like the girls would be upset, but I would honestly just look at the girls and just go, "You still played really well. That was a really good game." Like, no matter, like, for me, like, I think, like, no matter, like, the wins or the losses that the girls have, I think, like, I really check the aspect of how, like, well they played. And I think that's, like, something, like, a coaching aspect that I think I get from Erwin. It's not about sometimes, like, the wins and losses. It's just about, like, how well you've played. Like, because the girls had some really great games that they just fell really short at. And then they had some really bad games that they lost because they didn't play well.
Yeah, definitely. And the other thing to mention with that is, and especially with the losses, the girls definitely took it to heart and usually came back and fired out a good practice the next week or two and everything like that. And the other thing that you got to experience as well, that not a lot of student managers or assistant coaches or even some players throughout their playing career and everything like that don't necessarily get to experience. You got to go ahead and see, obviously, the team play in a, tournament game, obviously, or more or less CSAC championship semifinal game.
Yeah.
What was that kind of like? That mentality that week and everything like that? Obviously, sometimes mentalities can go laid back. Sometimes they can go forward, but obviously, for us and for Keystone, if I know the field hockey team the way, hey, we know them. It was serious, but at the same time, tried to keep the mood light.
That week before we played Cedar Crest, that first game, and that week was actually really good. Like, I think the girls were very much locked in that week because we had just came off that 1-0 loss to Wilson, and I think it was 1-0. We had just came off that 1-0 loss to Wilson, and I think the girls were fired up. And I think the girls like took that energy and they took that emotion from that Wilson game and they brought it into the Cedar Crest game. So that whole week that we were prepping, it was something that like I'd never seen before. Like, I think you could definitely tell like we were in playoff mode because the girls were different. Like they were locked in very differently than I think I've seen when I started in preseason to regular season to now. Well, even playoffs and then now. Like, they were locked in. I was really proud of that game. Like, even though like we fell short in OT, I was actually really proud to see like how they fought that whole game. They were down, and then how they fought back to even tie the game up to go into overtime.
Now, the other thing I want to mention, and I kind of alluded to this earlier, one of the other guys that was on the team with you as sort of like an assistant coach / other student manager,
Gabe.
Obviously, was going to have to bring him up eventually. What was it like kind of just not only, getting Gabe on the team as well, but also knowing that, because obviously this is a brand new roster and everything like that, so everybody was in a way brand new and everything like that. What was it kind of like just, getting Gabe back in with you and everything like that, and knowing you were going to have that familiar face from men's lacrosse?
So, Gabe, in a way, I think is what actually kind of made kind of hockey kind of real easier for me at the beginning. Because, like I said, I was new, so I knew some of the girls, but I didn't really, like, know them like I know them now. So, knowing Gabe, knowing Krista kind of made it easier to like come in and like, okay, I have people to like that I'm very familiar with. So it's not like I'm coming to a brand new situation with a bunch of brand new people that I don't know. So coming into this, I was proud that Gabe was here. I'm glad that Gabe was here because, we're teammates, and then we're going into this to field hockey season together. So to basically do everything together it was a very easy adjustment until, I got comfortable. Then once I got comfortable, it just took off.
Definitely, man, definitely. And obviously, looking at it next season and everything like that, you're going to get to know the incoming freshmen and everything like that and all that stuff. You're also going to have, your seniors, your juniors, your returners, and everything like that. What was it kind of this year as well? Just getting some of those new freshmen in and everything like that, and just, also during the recruiting process, just kind of knowing that you're going to have to get used to those new faces and everything like that, but also just making sure that they know that this is a family, that this is a team to bring together.
So when it came to this year's freshmen that came in when I joined in the fall, I actually clicked with them easier first. I clicked with the freshmen first. And maybe maybe it's because, this is the new thing, we're the new kids on the block, I actually clicked with them first. Actually, my best friend, Juliana Santiago, she's a freshman, we're besties. So, I clicked with her first, and it kind of seemed to transition into everybody else. So I think when I meet these recruits that come in, I try to instantly, give them, that brotherly love, just so they know that this is a good place to be. And 9 times out of 10, most of the time I will probably spend just a little bit of time with them before the rest of the girls get there, or if coach has to go do something and I just have to walk the recruit around, they spend that time with me. So I try to definitely give them that one-on-one aspect of it. Of we're family, I have your back, you have mine. Even if you're not here yet, if you need anything, you can always call.
Yeah, definitely. And the one thing I kind of want to build off that and kind of just wrap up this with and everything like that, and it's something that I notice a lot, because a lot of teammates and everything like that, and a lot of players sometimes they turn around, or teammates and coaches, whatever you want to call. Mm-hmm. Sometimes when they get off the court and everything like that, or when they get off the field, whatever you want to call it, usually they're talking about the next game. Mm-hmm. But with field hockey, whether you're on campus, whether whether y'all are in the dorms, whatever it is, y'all aren't necessarily talking about, what happened in the game. Y'all are just trying to lighten up everything, and everything like that. So what is it kind of just having that, off the field mentality of not everything is about the game?
I think sometimes you have to look at the brighter picture of it. I think sometimes that's what it is. I think sometimes you have to go into it with the mindset of, it's competitive, but you also have to be smart about it. Not everything, we're here to build hockey players, but then, there's other things that comes with this hockey. There's the academic side of it. There's just the life portion of it. Because at the end of the day, at some point, hockey's going to be over, and then what are you going to have when you turn back and look at it? What are you going to take away from it? So for me, I think for me, it's kind of trying to take away something from it that you'll always remember. You want to remember the good, the bad, the ugly. I want to be able to, and you can ask the girls, I'm the first one to bring up a really bad game they've had the past season. Because when you think about it, it's funny now. I'm the first one to bring up a game that they played really well in. But it was funny because they almost lost the game. So it's kind of funny just to bring it out, how they barely got through it. They barely got through it. So I think, as much as it's funny, it also fuels the girls' fire in a way. Because we're all excited to come back in August. We're excited to get back. We're excited to go on this run again.
I got you. Nice, man. And yeah, obviously the mentality always, and like I said, never really changes with women's field hockey and everything like that. Guys, it's going to go ahead. That's going to wrap it up for us here on the Voice of the Giants. Ty, I want to thank you again for coming in, man. This is definitely a lot of fun.
Thank you. This was actually really fun. It's over this fast.
Definitely. Hey, guys, like I said, going to go ahead and wrap it up here with Voice of the Giants podcast. And, guys, we will see you all next week. Take it easy, guys.